everyone, and welcome to Vlogmas. I am so happy that you're joining me here today as I prepare to knit and crochet my way through December. I know it is not December yet as I am recording this. It is still November, but I thought I would make a pre-Vlogmas episode, a day zero, if you will, just to talk a little bit about what you can expect from Vlogmas here at Traveling Misknits, to show you my advent calendars and share some of the project plans that I have for them. I'm also going to do a super short introduction just in case you are new to this channel. Hi, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Pia and I am a Danish knitter and knitwear designer, living, well, most of the year basically out of a suitcase because I have my family distributed over 3 continents. I have my husband in Dubai, I have my oldest son in Texas, and I have my youngest son here in Denmark, where I am right now, and where I will be throughout Vlogmas. I am not traveling again until New Year's when I'm going back to Texas. So that's the first part of the channel name, the traveling parts. Misknits refers to this little fluffy bundle of joy, my knitting companion who is always willing to curl up on the couch with me and my knitting. Yeah, you will see a lot of Miss throughout Vlogmas for sure. Right now I also have my son's dog here. I'll just see if I can go like this. Old Sir Charles. Hello, Charlie. Hi. He is just taking a break from family life. He really enjoys spending time up here with Grandma, where it's a little more quiet than in his own home. But yeah, I think that will do for introduction for right now. If you stick around, you're of course gonna get to know me much better. But enough about this. Let's check out the things that are really important. Let's go look at some yarn. I am going to show you my advent calendars, but I also just wanted to show you Mrs. Advent. 24 little knitted socks with a treat for every day in each one of them. But yeah, the first of my advents is right here. This one is an advent that I made for myself. I took 24 little cakes of my scraps and put them in these cute little bags. I do remember also adding in some yarn cozies and some Christmas themed stitch markers and progress keepers. So that's going to be a lot of fun opening that. And that one I will be working with in December. I'm going to add it to my teeny tiny granny stripe blanket. The next advent that I'm going to show you was the first one I ordered, but the last one to arrive because it was held up in customs here in Copenhagen, which probably makes it the most expensive advent around this year. But I am so excited for this. I ordered it because it is a Harry Potter themed advent. It is from Dragon Hoard Yarn and Yarn Cafe Creation. It's a mother-daughter thing where they each dye half of the colors for the advent. So it arrived in this beautiful little bag, but I then put half of it up in my Christmas sock so that I can grab one little pack every day, open it. I'm not gonna work with this in December because the blanket that I have in mind requires a main color to go with all of the advent colors. So I want to open it. I want to see all the colors. I want to lay them out, find the perfect main color and the perfect distribution of the Advent colors. So I'm going to be opening this, enjoying them every day, but I'm not going to work with it here in December. I'll just try to show you my Christmas sock. It is just a vanilla sock basically that I just made really, really big, and then I embroidered a little bit on it. I'm not very good at that, but I think it's cute. It's very Christmassy. The last of my Advents is this one, and this is probably the one that I'm most excited about. It is from the Danish hand dyer Camjot Advent. I am gonna link the makers of my Advents in the show notes below the video. They also, both Camilla and the Harry Potter Advent, the makers have podcasts, so I'm also gonna link those in the description box below. But yeah, the Advent from Camjot Advent, I put it on my little Nisse here, and I am gonna make myself another hyacinth. The hyacinth is my Advent sweater for this year. It is this super cozy, oversized sweater where you use your Advents to make this very simple color work. So it's kind of difficult to see here because what I did for the sample, I did not have an Advent to knit myself the sample here. So I pulled all of my orange, red, pink, purple scraps, and then I held them all together with a very pink brushed mohair silk. And that is actually what the pattern instructs you to do, is to hold your Advent colors together with some fluff just to help the colors blend together beautifully. I'm not gonna start knitting the hyacinth right away because with this one, I wanna get a feel for the colors. I wanna maybe open a handful of days, get a feel for the colors, as I said, so that I can choose the perfect main color and also the perfect fluff to go with the Advents. I do, of course, have some options. I have already pulled some yarns from Stash. I'm gonna show those later because I have an option of a black main color, a white main color, which is probably what I'm leaning against right now. I mean, it would be like a little snowball. It would be so pretty. I, of course, also pulled some brownish gray for the main color, just in case. But I will figure that out within like 4 or 5 days of opening these Advents. And the hyacinth is a very, very quick knit, so I have no problem being delayed in the knitting. I can finish it, no problem. What I'm wearing, by the way, is my Advent sweater from last year. This is called Jericho's Rose, and I am also linking both of my Advent sweaters in the description box below. This one, the pattern instructs you to work bottom up because you then you can knit all of the main color well before December 1st, and then you can you just join everything in the round and you start working with the Advent colors. This is an Advent from another Danish hand dyer by Colar, and it is so beautiful. It is, I mean, usually I'm all about the grayish, brownish, very neutral, subdued tones, like a little moody and yeah, cozy colors. But this just makes me so happy. It is so beautiful. I do have another version, the sample that I made last year, which that is a very Pia knit. It has a gray main color, and the scraps, because it was my scraps, the scraps were all gray, brown, olive green, that kind of thing. But last year I met up with a viewer of this podcast who had made it in one strand of fingering and one strand of mohair. And that was just so beautiful, and that kept like it, I just kept the look of that sweater in my mind. So when I started designing for this year, for sure I wanted to do fingering held together with a mohair. Both sweaters are written for DK-ish weight, either 2 strands of fingering held together, or in this case, well, you can do 2 strands of fingering, or you can do 1 strand of a DK to worsted weight held together with some fluff. And that's also why I say this is a quick knit. You are working with a DK or a worsted weight held together with some mohair. So it basically flies off the needles. But yeah, my advents for this year, I'm just gonna go get my granny stripe blanket so that you can see the blanket that I'm gonna be working on. Hang on. So yeah, my granny stripe blanket, it is teeny tiny. I started it a long time ago, and I didn't really get to work on it, but I have always been wanting to work on it. So I decided that this year, this would be my Advent project. As you can see, this is not a traditional granny stripe blanket. These are not really stripes. I change my colors at least once or twice on every row, just to really get a super scrappy look on this blanket. And in order to like tie all these scraps together, I am managing my colors. I am only using earthy tones and grays and browns, and I have a little bit of reds in there. I don't know. I apologize for the light, and I could be saying that probably all throughout December, because light is going to be a problem. But can I just say it now and then not talk about it again? But yeah, this is what I'm going to be working on. As you can see, it's not super wide. It's what, 1.5 meters, something like that. That is because I want, well, for one, I want a lap blanket. This is not going to be for a bed or anything. But also I want to, when I'm finished crocheting the stripes, I want to put a really large border around it in some dark charcoal gray, again, to tie all the scrappiness a little bit together. So I am so excited to be crocheting on this. I already put in a little Christmas stitch marker just to remind myself that this is my Christmas project and I should not pick it up before, which has been kind of difficult. I got some new crochet hooks, the Lantern Moon hooks that I'm sure most of you know. It's these very, very smooth and super, super, super good needles. I am so happy with these needles. Let me just see if I can get the camera to focus here. You can see it's the head is just really good, and they're so smooth and nice, and they're skinny, which is a good thing, because for some years I've had problems when I've done crochet. It has really hurt my arm to the point where I wasn't able to pick up and hold on to anything. Like my muscles would just give in. And then a podcast viewer said to me, you know, I've noticed you always use those ergonomic hooks with the fat handles. that could be the problem. You should try a skinny hook. I did, and I am actually able to crochet with this. So yay for my new wonderful hooks, and yay for this project that I'm so excited about. I have this huge basket full of DK weight scraps that I'm gonna put into the blanket. I will, of course, start every day by crocheting up the yarn that I put in my advent calendar. But then if I have more time, I can just pull from all of these scraps that I have collected over the years. So yay, I am so excited to get working on this. I have been so excited to do some crochet that I actually cast on and finish just a tiny crochet project this week. Last week, well, all through November, I have been talking about how I wanted to finish up everything, clear my needles, be ready for Vlogmas so that I could just dive into Vlogmas making and not have something calling for my attention. And I did a pretty good job. Last week I had one whip still on my needles, but then I crocheted this collar. I was craving crochet, and then I was browsing Ravelry, as you do, and I found this really simple pattern for a faux fur crocheted collar. So of course I had to make one. I have put it here on my crossover tee. All of my own patterns you can find in my Ravelry store that I am linking again in the show notes below. This pattern, I'm also, for the collar, I'm going to link it. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It was so fast. I crocheted it up in one evening and still had time to do some knitting. And I think it's so pretty. I put in these little clasps. I don't know if you can even see them. They're clasps that are actually made for Norwegian sweaters, but I thought they just look so pretty on this one. So it actually also looks gorgeous on my winter coat, and then I will just pin it to the collar of the coat, and it looks amazing. The one thing that I had left on my needles was my perfect little cardigan that I have been knitting on for a while. And, well, I am finished with the body, almost finished with one sleeve. I could have finished the cardigan this week if I had just stayed monogamous with this. But I did not, because it's my knitting time. I can do whatever I want. I have used the bind off here on the body, the bind off that Anke Strick showed on YouTube. So if you search YouTube Anke Strick bind off, you will get a video showing this beautiful bind off. I mean, it almost looks like a sewn bind off, but it's not. It's super fast and easy to work. So I use that for the body. I'm going to use it for the sleeves as well. And today I want to finish the first sleeve and get the other one going, because getting a sleeve going, picking up stitches and all that, that's also always just a little bit fiddly. So I thought I will do that today so that I have an easy project that I can just work on if I want to. And if I don't want to, it's okay. I can come back to it in January. Probably I'm going to want to work on it. I do have to wind some yarn. I don't have more of the yarn. If you want to know more about the perfect little cardigan and the yarn I'm using for it, I will suggest that you go back to my my latest podcast episode, because I do talk about it at length there. But yeah, that's my plan for today, is wind some yarn for this and finish the one sleeve and get started on the next one. Oh wait, I have more. Last week, I had a day where I was going out with my grandson, Victor. We were going to go to the library and we were going to go to McDonald's for dinner. And I knew there would be a lot of playing involved. So I thought, it's going to be a lot of knitting time for me. But the cardigan was, it was too big of a project to bring along for that day. So I decided to cast on a sock, which, I mean, that makes totally sense. I have it in this little, it's just a gift bag. I got a set really cheap off Amazon, but I like to use these for my Christmas projects. I cast on with some Regia sock yarn, self-striping, as you can clearly see. And what I'm doing is I'm making really, really tall socks. I'm gonna just, I did the cuff in not a contrasting color, but another color, a complementary color. I'm gonna knit with the self-striping yarn until I have knit half of the ball. Here it's a 100-gram ball. And then I'm going to make a toe and then put in an afterthought heel. But yeah, that's a lot of fun just going around and around. I did increase, I think you can tell that I did increase up here to, I think, 66 stitches. And then gradually I decreased until I was at the 62 stitches, which is the perfect stitch count for me, just to make room for my calves. So, yeah. And then, something arrived in the mail. Some yarn from Garnspezialisten, who also gave me the yarn for the perfect little cardigan. They sent me some yarn for a new design that I'm going to be working on in January. They also put in just a little bit of their sock yarn, and I, of course, didn't bring the ball to show you. But I decided to test it right away. I have always wanted really heavy, long socks to use with my boots because a lot of my pants are ankle length and I like the look. But I do not like having my ankles exposed in winter. So I thought it would be wonderful to have long socks that I could use with my boots just to cover that part of my ankle. The thing is, the heavy socks that I wanted, they're not going to fit in my boots. So I did leg warmers instead. So when I came to the point where I wanted to put the heel, I just bound off the stitches for the heel and cast them on again. So now I have leg warmers that fit me perfectly and I can use them with my boots. These did not take long to knit. I mean, it's a DK weight woolen, New Zealand wool and acrylic is the yarn's content. And it is a DK weight, so this did not take very long to knit. Garnspezialisten is a very special company. I do talk about them on my last podcast as well. What they do is they rescue yarn. They rescue yarn from the fashion industry, and they also rescue hand knitting yarns that were made for hand knitting, but maybe the color was wrong or the batch was too big or whatever it could be. They rescue all these yarns that would have been destroyed elsewhere, and then they sell them at very low prices to hand knitters. And they do ship internationally. I will link their shop in the description box below because I really love the idea of doing something good and getting yarn. I mean, what's not to like? That's like the perfect setup. But yeah, I was really good at clearing my needles. At least I did finish 2 of the 3 projects that I cast on this week. And the socks, I need the socks. I need the socks for December because I'm going to be out and about a lot. And I'm not going to bring not my granny stripe blanket and also not the huge sweater that I am knitting with the other Advent. So the socks are, it's a good thing. I'm happy I cast these on and they're going to be wonderful. Now I'm going to do some work. And after that, I'm going to wind some yarn and knit on my perfect little cardigan. I will check in with you later just to let you know how I'm doing. You guys, it's snowing. Oh, the first real snow. Yay. I hope it's gonna stay. It's so beautiful.
Oh, how I wish for the Christmases of old.
So I am almost done with work for the day. I am gonna have to do a little more later tonight, but for now, I'm done. I also wound up my yarn and I was able to work a little bit on my cardigan, so I finished the first sleeve and I got started on the second sleeve. I only just got started, but it's there, it's ready for me just to sit and knit. And that is probably what I'm gonna do. It is now, what, 4:30? And it is totally dark out. So I'm probably just gonna sit here and knit for a little while. I'm sure Peter's gonna be out soon. And yeah, at some point we're gonna be ready for dinner. Later tonight, we are gonna watch a Christmas movie. I don't know which one. We will figure that out. But yeah, those are the plans for the rest of the day. Knitting, eating, and watching Christmas movies. That's not bad at all, is it?
Christmases of old, when all was right and the candlelight would glow, where we used to play in a wintry wonderland, and we'd hear carols sung. I'm not wasting any dreams this Christmas. I've made my wish upon that star.